Good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday. My name is Shantae. I hope all is well. I hope your Sunday is well. I hope you had a good, blessing day. As for those who are church folks like myself, I hope the Lord bless you. Even though my spirit was a little today, but it got a little bit better in the afternoon. But I am glad that you had a blessed one. So here is a weekend edition of my after show that I do on the weeknights, but I did a coronavirus update on Instagram, and now I'm just doing a little small recap of what I did, and also just a little bit political headlines. I didn't put it in today's stuff. So here you have it. So you can follow me if you want more content. You can like this video, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, just simply Shantae Berry. I am Shantizi. That is my screen name on Twitter and Instagram. So let's get to the coronavirus. So we're still in the midst of this damn pandemic. It's been declared as a national emergency 5 months ago, even though the coronavirus is here back in January, but not rehashing stuff because we're still in the midst of this day. So as of Sunday, August 16, 2020, globally, we are at 21,613,183 cases of COVID around the world. COVID-19 is not just only in the United States, it is in 187 other countries. Yeah. Our global death toll of this virus is at 774,288. That is damn near close to 800. That is a quarter away, not half away, a quarter away from 800,000 deaths around the world throughout the 188 countries. And of course, the U.S. has the highest, but I'm about to get to that in a moment. At home, our cases of COVID is at 5,403,213 cases. So let's repeat that again. U.S. cases of COVID here at home, we had 5,043,213 cases of COVID-19. With our death toll, as I said, we're the highest at 170,052. Good job, Donald Trump. You shouldn't have handled COVID very well, making us the highest cases on the globe, which we're the sickest nation, and the deadliest with this virus. Here at home, because I'm only focusing on the U.S. on the weekends, California leads the U.S. with 627,940 cases of COVID, followed by Florida at 573,408, Texas 560,849, New York State, which was once the epicenter of all of this, is at 430,226. Georgia, which is seeing increases of cases per day, is at 220,165. Illinois, 207,876. Arizona, 193,549. New Jersey, 189,294. North Carolina, 145,093. And Louisiana rounding out that top 10 at 138,041. And these numbers, just to cite my sources, come from both the Johns Hopkins University of Medicine website, which they have a COVID map, and it's coronavirus.jhu.edu, and the New York Times COVID map, which you can sign up online. It's for free during the coronavirus, just to get the updates at home here in the States. While the Johns Hopkins website is for not just only the states, which is by county, but around the world as well. Los Angeles in the counties, out of the top 50, I listed the top 6 with the most cases, and Los Angeles starts it off with 220,867, followed by Miami-Dade County, 144,407, Maricopa, 228,865, Cook County, 115,344, Harris County, 91,698, and Queens, which was the epicenter of all this throughout New York State and New York City, is 68,394. Now with New York City's cases, New York City is at 234,910. So New York City is just a city. Queens is a county within the city. And for Los Angeles to be a county at 220, they're on a trajectory to possibly, not quite as sure, to surpass New York State, New York City's amount of COVID cases. And keep in mind, Los Angeles is just a county, but it's bigger than New York City. So I won't be surprised if the number of cases continue to surge, which it is, because it's 40,000 people in California, and I don't know how big the population is in Los Angeles, but it's pretty big. So that's where we are. And of course, as I always say, every night and every day, and I'm going to say every day till I see something, this administration has no national plan, nothing, zero, to combat COVID-19, no plan in place. To me, I feel like I'm not sure if they even have a plan for schools to have their students to return. As you can see, there's, I believe on the news, on MSNBC, Arizona school officials are urging children not to return due to the massive COVID outbreak that's going on out there, because they're seeing a surge in cases, and also their hospitalizations are very overwhelming in Arizona. Not surprised. And they're on a trajectory to seeing 200,000 cases. They're about to be on that 200,000 tier as Georgia and Illinois. So that's where things are. And also, we have a post office issue, which I'm going to get to in a moment. And people are losing their jobs. There's food insecurities. So this is a lot at play. And of course, we have an economic issue as well with this, because this global health crisis is causing an economic downturn in our country. 60% of our economy does derive over consumer spending. And I know here in New York City in particular, because I can speak for where I live, which we are the global economy in the world, our tourism is completely down. And a lot of our tourism derive off our European visitors from France, Italy, and Spain, who has saw crazy amount of cases in COVID, but they did a national lockdown within their country. So now the fact that they banned us from going to their country, and even though we did a European ban, but they banned us because we have over 5.4 million. They're in the 200s at the most in Spain, Italy, and France, even though we reopened their country, but they reopened slightly smart versus us, which the whole country was not on a national lockdown. There were states that did stay at home orders, or we call it pause order here in New York. But back to my city, we are seeing a big downturn in our tourism. Normally, our museums are fully packed, even though our museums is open up next Monday, which is a bad idea because that shit is crazy. But our tourism is down because our European allies, our European tourists will actually buy souvenirs and buy things at our museums, at other stores on 42nd Street, or go shopping in packs. And now we don't have that. And that is actually killing our economy. We don't even have our tour buses. I haven't seen the tour buses going around. So this is very, very serious. That's why it's an economic downturn in certain cities such as New York. I'm pretty sure Washington, D.C. is having the same issue. Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta, Miami are having those problems. So that's where we are in terms of our economy. And also Denver, especially Aspen, they're having that issue too as well. So that's what's going on. And I can't forget Boston too, and Philadelphia. So that's where we are, folks. Now the next thing on my, I didn't have a written agenda, but I have hashtags. Nancy Pelosi, according to Politico, article in Politico, is it's called the House back to over the post office overhaul, as they say. The House is expected to vote as early as Saturday, August 22nd. That is this weekend coming, on a proposal to block the Trump administration's plan to overhauling the post office. Of course, Kevin McCarthy, Republican House Minority Leader, I just took a sentence from his quote. Republicans are 100% committed to ensuring a fair and accurate election. But Donald Trump said blatantly, like, we're slowing down the post office because they have mail-in ballot with dead people's names all over. The elections in New York was a disaster. Not really. Jamal Bowen won his race fair and square through a mail-in ballot and in-person voting. Karen Maloney won hers. It was close, but she won hers. And I live in a district where Karen Maloney is the congresswoman. I don't vote in this district because I haven't changed my polling site. But these people actually like her here. Yeah. Don't believe anything that the resident of the White House says, because he's a straight up bullshit ass liar. Like dead ass. A liar. OD. But getting into this next and last topic. Cori Bush. Miss Bush. Let's look at Miss Bush for a second. Because Miss Bush. She is the Democratic nominee for the Missouri 1st Congressional District. I thought she was number 3 or number 1, but I was close. For the Ferguson, she's a Ferguson activist, and she's also a national Bernie surrogate, former. So she tweeted this afternoon, stating this. I cast my DNC ballot last week. I'm proud to vote. Excuse me. I'm going to start that over again. I cast my DNC ballot last week. I am proud to have voted for Bernie Sanders, but I have to vote against the platform. My people are dying, and I cannot support a platform that does not include Medicare for All hashtag, which could save lives, thousands of lives, literally. I am a Sanders delegate, and I followed the DNC rules, period. So here's the thing. Sanders could have probably won, and this is coming from a person that supported Kamala Harris throughout this primary, even though she didn't make it to the Iowa caucuses due to money, which is sad. I'm still sad, even though I'm glad that she's now the vice presidential running mate to Joe Biden. But back to Sanders' dilemma and where I'm about to break it down to, putting my thinking political cap on, even though I'm not a real political scientist, but I soon to be part-time, not full-time. So Sanders could have easily won the primaries. He was on a trajectory in Iowa, which he didn't win. That it was actually Pete Buttigieg. He won New Hampshire. He won Nevada. Sanders fell short in South Carolina because he really didn't connect with the black voters like that. And what really messed Sanders up, to be quite frank, besides Super Tuesday, which really, they all worked in Joe Biden's favor because of black people, my family members in South Carolina saving his ass. Sanders was supposed to, I gotta backtrack. Sanders said some comments about Fidel Castro, saying how his reading program and everything is good, knowing good and damn well that you had a good Hispanic support, and you saying stuff about Castro, and Castro's held a lot of Hispanics back for economic freedom. So Hispanics, especially Floridian Cubans, wasn't happy about that shit. Number one. Or any Hispanic that live in Florida, period. Second, your ass was supposed to go to Mississippi, Mr. Sanders, and he did not go to Mississippi because I think the mayor in Jacksonville, I'm not quite sure what city it was in Mississippi, supported Bernie Sanders and actually endorsed Bernie Sanders for president. And did he go to Mississippi? No. He took his ass to Michigan, to Detroit. He had a forum addressing black issues. Did he say anything? No. He let his black surrogates talk for him and the black women that worked for his campaign. Right then and there, he fucked up. And he's not for reparations. Let's make that very clear. So, people like Cori Bush, Rashida Tlaib, and Roy Khanna, because he's not low neither. Writing in Sanders' name, say because they are Sanders surrogate and I follow the DNC rules, shows right there that you're voting against your interests. And like I said in a previous video, Sanders supported, through his endorsement to Biden and supporting Biden, and is pushing Biden to be more progressive on his policy stance. And with Kamala Harris on the ticket, who actually supports Medicare for all, if you really dig in and stop believing Karen-ass Laura Beslon, you really would understand where she stands at in policy. Her and Bernie, they vote together the same way 90% of the time. So I don't understand this shit with these progressives, or some people say regressives, who want to, uphold democracy for their own policy or interest, whatever they do. It's just so selfish. We have the most dangerous man in the White House who's doing everything to undermine our democracy and our American creed and everything above the sun that he can do to damage everything. And you want to talk about, if it's not Medicare for all, that's not the platform. You don't know that. This administration, Biden and Harris, will be the most progressive administration we had. Probably since, I could say, Obama years and FDR. With the situation going on with our health, with the public health problem, and with the economic problem that's the onset of that, which the public health crisis is the onset of the economic crisis that we're having, this administration is going to be the most progressive administration. And if Bernie Sanders today said we're going to push the Biden and Harris administration to the left on certain issues, why the fuck would you do that? Because you follow the rules? It sounds stupid as fuck. But who am I and what is me? But overall, we're in a fucking mess. We're in the shithole. This country is literally now almost nearly a shithole because we're the most infected, the most sickest, and now the most deadliest because of the mishandling of this virus and the lack of urgency and the neglectful man in the White House who's doing everything to harm us and rush everything like everything's going to go back to normal. No, it's not. But this is where we are. And this is not to discourage you. It is only telling you to vote, vote, vote. It's either you vote for Biden and Harris, who will actually listen out on your ideas and where you stand and how you want an agenda move and to have a seat at the damn table. Or you want this queen sewage rat that I call him and his lackey, Mike Pence, who is a homophobe and a science denier and a racist and all the bad names above, to keep running this country down to the ground. Pick and choose. That's all I'm saying. Until then, have a good night.